Hello and welcome back to the Mechanic Cooks. Today we're making a roasted butternut squash filled with a creamy shrimp sauce. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and head over to themechaniccooks.com for more great recipes. The ingredients list and a link are in the description. Before cutting the squash, I like to poke a few holes in the skin and put it in the microwave for about 2 to 3 minutes. The holes let the steam vent, and that brief heating softens the flesh just enough to make it safer and easier to cut. Then cut it lengthwise, a little off-center so one side is deeper. Scoop out the seeds, drizzle the inside with olive oil and season with salt, pepper, and spread it all over the flesh. Put the top half back on and roast in a 375-degree oven for about an hour. While it cooks, the squash softens and its natural sugars develop. The flavor changes from mild and starchy to sweet and almost buttery, and that sweetness later balances the acidity from the tomatoes and the lime. When a knife slides in easily, remove it and let it cool enough to handle. Scoop out most of the flesh, but leave about a 1/2 inch wall so it keeps its shape. Save that scooped flesh. It goes into the sauce and helps it thicken naturally. This is a dish where the flavors balance each other: sweetness from the squash, savoriness from the shrimp, and a gentle richness from the sauce, so every bite feels complete. Peel and devein the shrimp, then season with salt, pepper, and lime juice. Only let them sit for about 5 minutes. The acid in the lime actually starts to cook the shrimp. That's basically how ceviche works. So if you let it sit too long, they'll firm up before they ever reach the pan. Heat a pan with enough olive oil to cover the bottom and sear the shrimp for about a minute per side. We're only browning them for flavor, not cooking them through. Then remove from the pan. In the same pan, cook the onion over medium-low heat for about 10 minutes until it turns translucent and just begins to pick up a little color. That slow cooking softens the sharpness and brings out its natural sweetness. I'm using the same pan and the same oil from the shrimp. The browning left behind in the pan dissolves into the onions as they cook, so you keep that shrimp flavor instead of washing it away. Add the garlic and let it warm briefly until fragrant. Then add the diced pepper and cook a few minutes until they start to soften. This step builds the foundations of the flavor before the tomatoes go in. Add the tomatoes and let them cook for about 10 minutes until they soften and start to fall apart. As they cook, they release quite a bit of liquid. That liquid lifts the brown bits from the bottom of the pan and carries the shrimp flavor through the sauce. At the same time, the water slowly cooks off, so the tomatoes lose their sharpness and become sweeter and richer instead of acidic. Now add the coconut milk, the baked squash that was scooped out, the diced cilantro, and the coriander. Mix well and simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. The squash melts into the liquid and naturally thickens it, and the coconut milk adds richness while still tasting light. Then return the shrimp to the pan, just long enough to warm through and coat them with the sauce. They're already mostly cooked from the sear and they're going to go back into the oven, so we're only heating them, not cooking. Any longer and they'll turn firm. Right before filling the squash, spread a thin layer of softened cream cheese seasoned with a little salt and pepper inside the shell. You won't really taste the cream cheese as a separate flavor. As the hot filling goes in, it melts gradually and blends into the sauce at the surface. It mellows the acidity from the tomatoes and the lime and gives the filling a smoother texture, rather than letting the sauce feel thin where it meets the squash. Spoon the filling into the squash shell and place some of the shrimp on top. Sprinkle a light coat of grated Parmesan cheese and return it to the 375-degree oven for about 10 minutes to bring everything together. When you eat it, you get that tender squash, creamy sauce, and juicy shrimp in the same bite. The sweetness, the acidity, and the savory flavors balance each other out, so nothing stands out too strongly. It just tastes complete. Serve it as is, or with a little rice to catch the sauce. Thanks for cooking along with me, and enjoy dinner.